So my last video was how to use Reaper with the Reason Rack to use the Matrix pattern sequencer to do trap hi-hats or note repeats. So this video is more about showing you the Matrix pattern sequencer for those who don't know how to use it. So now in that last video, the thing was that the velocity was going to be low on the track, because in order to transition from sequences of patterns, the patterns change based on the velocity of the pads. So they're not changing based on the MIDI note, they're changing based on the velocity values. So with that being said, you can also change the velocity of a MIDI note inside of the pattern bank. So I can still have it sound low. So don't think that you can't have lower velocities for certain notes, even though I told you have to turn the volume down of the track. That's for that previous video. Don't think you can't turn the velocity down. So this would be a 1/16 pattern. Now what you have over here is a resolution time bar. So on 1/16, you just have it set to 1/16. You can have your pattern set up to 32 steps total. I have mine set to 16 steps, but you can just go up to 32. I'm gonna go back down to 16. And each bank, you have to have the pattern button enabled. You can do curves. You can do velocity curves. So that's another way you can do it. Is if you want to do curves for your notes, you can just do velocity curves. You know, but I prefer to go down here and do it this way and draw them down so I can see my notes. And then everything else is gonna be ran in sequence with the DAW, because this is the Reason Rack. This is not Reason. So this sequence for the run button is not gonna be in sequence with Reason's sequencer. It's gonna be in sequence with your digital audio workstation. So you got, this is just a mute identifier, but it's not a button. And then you can just change for each pattern. You can change the settings for the resolution. So if I have 1/8 time right here and 1/8 triplet time right here, then I'll be playing 1/8 triplet for that pattern, for pattern 2. If I want to go to 132, I'll be playing 132. And if I wanted to switch up a little bit and go 132 and 1/16 at the same time, then I would do that. I would skip 1 right there, or skip 2 right there, or 4 right there, and then I would do 132 right there just for that part of the pattern. And the more banks you have, the more variations of patterns, change ups you can put in there and make it sound different, you know, for each pattern bank. So you can just keep going up, switching it up, you know, adding different variations to the pattern. Or if you want to say on pattern 4, I want it to be longer. I want it to be long. I want it to be 32 steps, but I want it to be 1/8. So just for that pattern, I'll have 132. I'll have 32 steps, but for the previous pattern, I'll have 16 steps. So I wanted to show you that so you can see that the pattern steps is not locked in all across the board for all 64 patterns of the 4 banks. So you can change the length of the steps for all 4 banks, and you can have 32 steps on some, you can have 8 steps, you can have how many under 32. Whatever's beneath 32, you can have as many as you want. You can have 26 steps, you can have 24. But if you're in 1/16 time, I would stick to 16s, 8s. You know, you want to go by 4s, 16s and 8s. You know, 16s and 8s. If you're doing triplets, you want to go by 3s. So 24s and 12s and 15s and stuff like that. I'm going to put it back on 16. But I just wanted to show y'all that so any of y'all wasn't confused in case you didn't know how to use the matrix pattern sequencer. It's pretty simple. Now what you also have to do is you have to create an NNXT sampler. And when you get it, you want to reset the device when you first set it up inside of the Reason Rack. You want to reset the device and browse for your samples. Then your sample folder will load up. You load a sample. You browse your computer, and you go in there and you find your sample. Load it in there. Now you got some other things in here. The thing I really like about using the Reason Rack is that the pitch bend wheel, it actually does hi-hat roll pitch bends for you. So you know how people go on the computer and they try to draw the pitch bend dives and all of that? You don't have to do that with the Reason Rack. You see what I'm saying? So with the Reason Rack, it's $20, man. Go get Reason Plus. Don't go get the crack. Go get Reason Plus. And if you're a student, you can get Reason Rack for a whole year for $99. Now, so with that being said, get the Reason Rack. Stop playing, because you're missing out on a whole lot of sounds and a whole lot of different creativity that you could be adding to your elements of music. So that's just that part. You know, you got portamento, you got LFOs and all of this different stuff in here that you can change up, and you can tab to the back, and you know, you can do some different things inside of Reason, you know. So you can put a sample in here and do these triplet hi-hats like this. You see what I'm saying? So you can put a sample in here and do 1/8 triplets and triplet hi-hats and all of that kind of stuff and do it in sequence. You see what I'm saying? You can drop a sample in here, browse a whole sample and drop it in. It just doesn't have to be a hi-hat. But that's just something I wanted to show y'all so that y'all know how to use the matrix pattern sequencer. And the NNXT is a sampler, in case you don't know. So it's a sampler, and it's pretty decent. It's classic. It's a classic sampler. So for the pitch dives, just use your pitch bend wheel. That's all you got to do. When you're using the NNXT, all you have to do is use the pitch bend wheel, and you can just do your pitch dives that quick. I'm gonna show you.